In this video, I'm going to walk you through how I made over $320 betting live arbitrage on the Knicks Pacers Game 6. You can see in my picket here, I made $328. I'm going to walk you through the literal bets that I made, along with show you a quick walkthrough of OddsJam, which is the software that I use to find these plays and actually take advantage of them. I'm going to give you some tips and tricks along the way. So you can see here that on my picket, I have $328 that I did for this day, and I only bet on the Knicks Pacers game. I know a lot of people will say, oh, I won this, oh, I had this big day, but they don't actually show you the behind the scenes a lot of times. So I'm going to walk you through exactly that. Now, a quick 30-second walkthrough if you're not familiar with arbitrage betting or OddsJam. Basically, it works because there's so many books that they can't all be in sync with each other. So sometimes those lines get really out of whack, and OddsJam will track those opportunities for you. You can set up a bunch of different filters, as you can see here. You can select from quite literally pretty much any sports book on the market. I have other videos going through that. I just want to show you a quick example of how the math works. So you can see pretty clearly here that we've got this on, a game that I would never normally bet on, but I just wanted to find one for you guys. We've got the over and we've got the under. So we're on both sides of this action. I do not care what happens because either way I'm going to win money. You can see we've got plus 116 odds here and plus 105. So we bet 190 on this side, 200 on this side, which means that we would walk away with a $410 average total payout for $390 bet, aka a $20.20 profit, or 4.92% in this scenario. I just wanted to walk you through this really quickly just to show you exactly how the math is working behind this. So we're in my picket now, and you can see here that 5:31 is the day the game actually happened. And you can see I made my first bet at 8:22 p.m. So I logged on a little bit after the first quarter started. And you can see my last bet was actually placed at 10:03. So about an hour and 40 minutes is what I did in total. And I made $328 in that time span, which comes out to about $182 per hour if you break it down hourly. Now I'm just going to walk you through some of these. I'm not actually going to open up the sidebar for every single one of them because I don't think you need to see that. But just so you know, for math's sake, right? When you see this green 181, I didn't bet 181. You can see here that I bet 200 to win 181. So when I win the bet, it will just show the winnings. And then when I lose the bet, that will be what I actually placed here. So I placed 130 here and I lost 130 because that's what I lost. It doesn't have any winnings or different numbers because I just placed that bet and I lost it. There's no need for a calculation there. So you can see for this first one example, we won 181 and we lost 130. So we came out with a $51 profit here. Then we have Mather and rebounds. We won about $18.50 here, $12 bet here, $13 bet, $13 bet. We have a $9 play here on Andrew Nimhard points. And then we've got a $25 play here. So you can see just from these first couple ones, we're anywhere from like that 12 to 13 all the way up to, we had a $50 play. But typically I would say that these ARBs are getting me anywhere from $15 to $25 on average. Obviously, we have big swings higher than that. And I want to tell you that this is just using two books. So using FanDuel and Bet365. And a quick pro tip, especially if you're using Bet365, because I found this book to be lasting me for a really long time right now. And typically this is one that limits really quickly, is do not withdraw from Bet365. So do everything in your power to not withdraw from here. If you need to use different methods or if you need to wait to place bets because you can't deposit more money at the time, that's totally fine. But do not ever withdraw from there. Do not ever place a pre-game ARB. So I've done 0 pre-game ARBs on Bet365 and it's lasted me about 6 weeks at this point. And just from Bet365 alone, I want to say I've made $5,000 to $6,000. Also, I have not used any of the bonus bets that it gave me. So I didn't use any referrals when I signed up. But when you sign up as a new Bet365 user, it will give you a bonus bet. I have not used that bonus bet. This might just be superstition, but I'm not going to risk it because I've been on such a good run with Bet365 that I would suggest not using that bonus bet, even though, yes, it'd be nice to make that extra $50. I would have lost potentially thousands of dollars if I got limited 3 or 4 weeks ago. I also say all this just to prove that you can do this with only a couple books, right? I'm using FanDuel and Bet365. Every single bet that I placed on this day was only FanDuel and Bet365. So you don't need a bunch of crazy exotic books to do this. Yes, the more books you do have access to, the more options you're going to have. So therefore you can win more. But I used all of this with just 2 books. So again, I don't need to go through every single one of these here to walk through the math for you. But you see an $11 win here, $15 win here, $20 win here, $13 win here. Again, sticking in about that line that we talked about. 2 things I do want to point out though really quick before the video's over. So number one is, like I said, this bet was placed at 10:03. And you might be thinking, okay, well, the fourth quarter didn't end until way later after that, right? Well, I actually really don't like placing a ton of ARBs in the fourth quarter. I almost never place ARBs in the fourth quarter unless it's like going into the fourth quarter or like the first minute or so, because a lot of times books will actually close the player lines, especially if it's a blowout, they will close them. But even in a close game, once it gets to like 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, they're not going to allow you to bet on a player's lines just because there's so much risk involved for them if maybe a player fouls out or the game gets out of hand and all the starters get subbed out. So I don't like to bet in the fourth quarter for that reason, because you might get one side down and then on another book, the line closes and now you're screwed and you have to just hope and pray that the side you got down hits. But the second point is you actually have a huge opportunity on your hands in that second quarter, especially in that third to late third quarter area, to hit potential middles. And what I mean by that is this. So this bet I placed, and I actually got it down 2 separate times. I could have won $600 total just from these bets, but I didn't because Mikal Bridges missed a 3, right? But I'll show you the example. So I have him over 17.5 for $175 on Bet365, but I have him under 18.5 over on FanDuel. So there is what's called a middle here, where if he scored exactly 18 points, I actually could have won both of these bets. And he was this close to doing it. He missed a wide open 3 with about 2 minutes left in the game, and then he subbed out. So if he had hit that 3, I would have won $600 from this. Now, these opportunities are pretty rare, but as it gets closer to the second half, these will pop up a little more often. And even if it's a really small arbitrage opportunity, like a 1% opportunity or something you might not normally go after, I would highly recommend still going after it for a middle, because you have that chance of potentially hitting both sides. I hope this video is helpful to show you a little bit of what these bets look like and what is realistic to hit in about a 2-hour time period when you're doing the live arbitrage betting, because a lot of people ask me, hey, is the platinum plan worth it because you get access to the lives? And you can see here, I made $328, which is more than half the month's worth of the subscription. So just 2 nights of this, I make my money back and then some. But also B, I hope that this gave you a couple of tips and pointers that's helpful for when you do start arbitrage betting. I have other videos, like I mentioned, going through my filters and some different tips specifically for live arbitrage betting. So make sure you go ahead and watch those. If you have any questions about this at all, leave a comment in the comment section below. There'll also be an affiliate link that you can use to sign up for OddsJam. If you use the code Clark, you'll get a 7-day free trial and you'll actually get 35% off your first month. So please use that if you are thinking about trying out OddsJam. Really appreciate you guys watching this entire video. Have a great rest of your day.